I was a runner, so
Okay.
I'd run down and get because I thought I was important then, and they give me change, like, they tip me when I come back, so I thought, "Oh, yay,
Making some
service
money.
industry, I'm making money." Not realizing later in life, I realized it's because I got to smell like the hamburgers and they didn't have to while they were doing hair. Hello, and welcome back to Be Life Changers. I am your host, Kathy Coates, and I'm excited to have you come back for another episode of Be Life Changers right here at JT Visuals without the I, because as you can see, everything is more than meets the eye. And I do have to point out, if you're watching online, you definitely want to check out this new screen in the front. Super cool. I love coming in and seeing all the changes. I'm so excited for them getting ready to do all the things that they're doing, upgrades. You come in and it's just so pretty. Everything's so pretty. Everything from even my mics that are purple and this big TV in the background that has my logo. I mean, look how great it looks. And of course, did you guys know I have merch now? I mean, this is so cool. I love Yeti cups. My husband will tell you all the time. It's like he goes, if you come home with one more cup, you know
Uh-oh.
how like a lot of women is with purses?
Yep.
Mine is cups. I literally have so many cups. So now I actually have my own, which feels a little surreal. Like I actually
Mm,
have a cup. So
that's
it's
great.
easy, we'll put it in the below how to you can order one too.
That's right.
So that's cool. But let me
Congrats.
get to the cool stuff. Today I have a very good friend with me, and I've just got introduced not too long ago,
Mhm.
but it's totally a God thing. So I had to hurry and put her on the show. I can't wait for you to meet her and hear her story. This is Ann
Hi,
Wisdom,
everybody.
and she does doing business with wisdom. And so we're going to hear her story today. It's so inspirational, and I think you're going to get a lot out of it.
If you've been thinking about making your own podcast like the one that you're watching or listening to right now, then JT Visuals is definitely the way to go. And that's JT Visuals without the I because there's more than meets the eye. Podcasts for business are popping like crazy. Everyone and their mom is starting a podcast. Why should you start one? Well, because the truth is, it's actually still not too saturated. Not only do you get a show that's all about your business and bringing on guests and spotlighting them and stories, but you're also getting clips and media to put onto social media platforms. Whatever your vision is for your business that you want to accomplish and how you help people, social media is the outreach for that. And when you have a podcast show, it is the easiest way to get started and to conquer that social media that everyone's telling you you need to be doing. We will do everything, so all you have to do is help come up with topics in collaboration with us, show up for a couple hours, and then leave, and everything else is handled for you. We would love to have a quick call with you to see if podcasting is right for you and if JT Visuals is the way to go for you. Just go to our website at jtvisuals.com. That's jtvsuals.com. jtvsuals.com. And now back to the show.
So welcome to the show, Ann.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad you're
Thank you for
here.
having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, good, good. So let's start digging a little deep. Let's kind of just start, kind of how you started. I know you had some childhood experiences that kind of led to where you're at right now. So let's start there.
Yeah, if we're going to go way back to childhood, you might not believe it. And we've talked a little bit about this, but I was a shy little girl. And so just really had to be put into etiquette class. I think my mom was concerned when I went to kindergarten that, I just would be the shy girl that couldn't make friends, I guess. And so with that, just came a different confidence, I think, really when I started playing basketball and Girl Scouts. And when I look back, as we often do and reflect, I think just those team environments really pulled a different something out of me. And even as a child, I was behind a little bit on reading. I was always good at the numbers, which is part of my story.
Oh, wow.
And so, as a fourth grade girl, right, I'm in math competitions and science and things like this, but just always a little bit, again, that reading comprehension was a little slow for me.
Mhm.
So part of my story is just telling that I learned to learn quickly. And so with Business with Wisdom, as you very well have, seen, I like formulas and frameworks and systematic approaches and predictability And that really helped me sort of as a young child thrive and grow into, who you see today, if you will.
Yeah, that is so awesome. I think when you look back at our childhood experiences, it's funny you say that because I had trouble reading too, and they didn't catch it right away.
Yeah.
Except for I'm about, I think, well, we'll just say a little bit older, a lot older. But anyhow, so I was back in the day kind of before they knew a lot about the how the teaching methods really
Sure.
do affect, trauma responses and stuff in children. And so back then, I mean, bless her heart, she was an older teacher. She was
Mm,
old school. In fact, she taught my
I
dad,
love
if that
that.
tells you anything. So I was like, she was really old, but she was so sweet. I loved her. She meant well. But she would get up and like literally we had to read in front of the class. Well, they nobody knew I
Mhm.
really had a reading problem at
Sure.
this time. So she'd go faster, faster, read faster, fast.
No.
And the kids would all be laughing. And then she'd make them stop laughing.
Mm,
That wasn't good, but the damage was already done
sure,
by then.
sure.
Like, you're traumatized, like, you know? It's like, "What's going on?" So, it's funny that you say that because I think sometimes, the enemy, the devil, he tries to
Yes.
come and steal some of those gifts from you even at a young age. Although numbers, I wish I could say numbers was my expertise.
We all have gifts, as
It's
we've talked
not,
about.
but
Yes.
it's okay. But, yeah, no, it's no problem. I
Yeah.
mean, other things came out from that. I had, a lot of, when I was younger, a lot of my self-confidence was funny. A
Mhm.
lot of people came against it, and I was teased and all kinds of stuff growing up, and that was probably to keep me from talking, but it was funny, music is the same thing that
I
pulled me
love
out.
that.
So, I taught, children's church at school or at church,
Yes.
and, so that's where I first started kinda doing all the singing songs and stuff with them and being silly
Okay.
because I love kids. Kids I just love kids. And then, I got into music, and so I literally would get up, because our church is, like, more old school, so I got up and, like, led the song service because we didn't have praise
I
teams
love
back
it.
then.
I love it.
So, I led the song service at night, and so I had to get over those fears, and so that is how I conquered and went against that very thing to people would never guess that I had a hard time being
Right.
in front of people because 'cause they're like, "How do you do it?" I was like, "Because I had to do it the hard way." I had everybody laughing at me. Once you've done that and you've got past it, what else could it
You
be?
can
And
do
there's
anything.
nothing else worse than
Yeah.
everybody laughing at you, so
Yeah.
it can't get any
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
So now it doesn't even faze me. I just get up. So yeah, it's
And I
funny.
think that blends into just being, again, teams. I think
Mhm.
just being, part of a team that somehow brought that leader out in me. And
Mhm.
perhaps that came from just the teachers that poured into me, like you're saying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
And my story really is of abundance and a community.
Mhm.
And even just with being, second and third grade was really kind of when that came out. And when, you have to start reading out loud in class and things. And with wisdom being my last name, it's like you hope they didn't reverse that alphabet and start with the last letters, right? Because then you're coming first, right? And so, yeah, you just learn
Right.
techniques to overcome that. And still, I had a great group of friends, great support systems, and so that was also the encouraging. Part that just kind of again, and you do it incrementally, right? You grow and grow and grow
Mhm.
until you do get this confidence, and then you look back and you're not sure where it came from, but
And
yeah,
it's
it
like,
didn't
where
happen
did that all
overnight, but
come from?
yeah,
No, it
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah,
It comes
right.
in baby
That's
steps. I
right.
think, just like I said, being in front of, just a smaller congregation. It
Mm,
wasn't a huge church at
right.
first, but then by the time I was done out of high school, I was in, again, like you,
Yeah.
basketball, so team player. I think being in sports or even like choir, it
Mhm.
all teaches you to work together. And so I was in choir, and then I was chose to be in a group that we all sang together. And then in college, I did the same thing. So I had to sing
Okay.
in front of people. So it just came, like you said, in
Right.
increments of being in front of, and then, you're starting to see those leadership qualities because everybody comes to you. I don't know if that happened to you in life, but like
It's kind of
everybody
in that
comes to you,
moment.
like in the moment. I
Yeah.
think when you're a true bone leader because as growing up, everybody comes to you, they like to the solution to all problems. But
We
as a
talk a lot
coach,
about being
yeah,
the solution, though,
yeah,
not
right,
focusing
right.
on the problem, but focusing on the
Yeah,
solution, and perhaps that's part of
exactly,
it. Yeah.
exactly. So growing up, like, I would say, I probably, as you when did you kinda start seeing that you were, I know, how did you get into what you're doing? I know you have a
Yes.
corporate background.
Yes, I have a corporate
So
background, and I love that this is part of what we connected on early on because you've had your daughter on, and we are very similar in the fact that I worked with my mom. My mom was my first boss, perhaps, and in the summers, she was in the corporate office. Her company ran outpatient MRI facilities, so they were
okay,
dispersed throughout the United States, and I would work with her over the summers, like I said, and file, right? Well,
okay.
then it's like, well, what's next? Well, what's
Hmm,
next? Well, what's next? Right. And did that for several years, worked with her when I was in college. And so that's sort of that medical hospital background. So that's really where my corporate background came from. I went to Kansas State University. So obviously I love the purple. And then I was fortunate enough to go to Rockhurst University here in town to get my MBA. And so that was a wonderful experience. And then from then, I went into physician group management. So now I was not managing sort of brick and mortar outpatient facilities. I was managing physician groups. And that's when I had to really talk about revenue and
mm,
write offs and profit. And so that's when that numbers really started to make sense. From then, I worked in hospital. So I ran patient financial services. So it's the revenue, always the revenue side of
mm.
things is where I stay. So that's the money
Money, money,
side. Yes, you
money,
got it. And
money.
so that grew my career. And then my last shift before I left corporate America was business to business selling in
Mhm,
the laboratory field. So again, a little bit of a different take where we were selling again corporation to corporation
mhm,
and still on the revenue side. But that was a large corporation, so we ran quite a bit of dollars
mm,
through that system. And really, if you know anything about healthcare or just the digital environment, we're all building new systems, new data. So just how my mind worked, I like to connect the systems and the data and metrics and numbers and all of that good stuff that
mhm.
really can start to tell a story and help your business thrive. Just like a doctor would say, do you know your numbers, right? Just know your
Exactly.
numbers and the health of your business that way.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, and I think that also shows the importance of, when your kids are around you, you know?
Yes.
I learned from my mom too. She was, well, they called them hairdressers back then, beauticians, and they
Yes,
all
my
the
grandma
different yeah,
too. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
learned, yeah,
yeah,
she was
so
an entrepreneur.
oh, there you
Yeah,
go,
full
yep.
circle, right?
Yep, and so I would go to work with her and, watch her. Of course, she worked in a salon, and, of course, they would send me down to get things, and I'm thinking, "Okay, yeah," I'm organizing things. You find that your gifts come out, like, even out as a
You can't
young
help it.
child, they start seeing where can they where are you good at? Like, is it cleaning or is it but
Yes.
they would always send me down to, I'm gonna name this place because it's pretty cool. It's in Salina,
Oh,
Kansas.
I
That's
love
where I
it.
was born. I
Yes,
was born in
yes.
Salina, Kansas, and it's Cozy Inn Burgers. They're known everywhere. And
Fun.
if anybody look it up, and if you go
Okay.
through Salina, Kansas, you definitely have to have
I
a
know
Cozy
somebody that
Burger,
knows it, I'm
but
sure.
do not go inside. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Get it from the window and come out because unless you wanna smell like the hamburger for the
Okay.
next
I love it. Sounds like a good
Yeah.
place.
Yes, it is wonderful. So, I was the runner, so
Okay.
I'd run down and get because I thought it was important then, and they give me change, like, they tip me when I come back, so I thought, "Oh, yay,"
Making some
service
money.
industry, I'm making money. Not realizing later in life, I realized it's because I got to smell like the hamburgers and they didn't have to while they were doing hair. So, I was like
So funny. That's
so, yeah,
great.
but
That's
anyhow, but you
great.
start learning those business principles,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
watched my mom do those things, and my father was a teacher.
Okay.
He taught at a vocational school, so again, I would go hang out with him at the Votech, and so was, those leaderships teaching, so I get that from him, that entrepreneurial spirit. He would, fix, VCRs and stuff back at the house,
Okay.
so that's kinda where a lot of my entrepreneurial spirit came from both of them
Yes.
because, they both were hustlers and doing things to make ends meet. And my dad is very good at teaching. And
Mm.
so that's where I kind of think I led more into that teaching side of stuff. That gift started to come up out of me. And of course, always having 101 ideas of things to do.
Yes.
So, and then of course, as you see that you're talking about, because you watched the episode where my
Yep.
daughter was
Yep.
on there. And so we can list that below too, which episode that is. So you
Yes,
can hear that because it's
yes.
a pretty powerful
It is
story to
great.
how she followed me and then where she is today.
Mhm.
So I think that, as we're growing, as you're raising your children, it's important to understand little eyes are watching you,
Mhm.
and those gifts, you are helping those gifts come out
Yeah.
of your children.
I remember many times, and stay tuned for 2026 events, but take
Mhm.
your child to work day.
Yes,
Years
yes.
upon years, I did that with my mom, and my dad was more in a laboratory and in the military, so
Mhm,
got to see, a different side of that. But just again, I think even the
mhm.
teacher side in me, that's why we really connected, is
Right.
teaching people, just again, from our
Mhm.
wealth of knowledge and
Right.
experiences, just teaching.
Well, military is that
Yeah.
discipline.
Discipline too,
Yeah,
and
so
and
you're
let me
talking
tell you, he's helpful, and, they have their own slogan, their own vernacular, so just
Mhm,
if I say something, "Slow down to speed up," he'll
mhm.
say, "Slow is steady and steady is fast," and so it's like, right? So you just
Yes,
get, and
'cause
I love that's
mhm.
the framework, like, if you can get something catchy, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? We can really go
Uh-huh.
with it, but it's nice that, really learning that corporate and military, right? Again, just a lot of
Yeah,
crossing things and
yeah.
principles there.
Principles
Yeah.
and discipline
Yep.
and pushing through and get her done.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah, that
that
grit, I think.
grit, get
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
grit.
yeah, yeah,
You got grit, you better have grit. It's
yeah.
gonna get done. Make
And
your
it's
bed.
funny you said that because years later, I've reconnected with a Girl Scout leader of mine, and
Mhm,
she said, "And I remember back then,
mhm,
elementary school, that I was always wanting to help. I was always asking, 'What can I do? What can I do?'" And I think we see that in each other, right? We're the visionaries,
mhm,
and
mhm.
we can execute. So we do know the devil's in the detail. We talked about that even earlier today. And so that is the important, right? To drive it home, to
Mhm.
really have a good product that we both want.
That's so true, so true. So, when you were in the corporate world, when did you decide that maybe it was enough of this and time to step out on your own?
Yeah. So it's an interesting evolution now that they say hindsight's 2020, right? So I'm about
Mhm,
a year and a half in. I had the opportunity when I left corporate America. I had a couple different clients and projects that I was working on. So that really gave me the affordability to make that leap. Um, we had a wild ride during COVID, as everybody did
mm,
at my company. But we did some really cool things during COVID. So we were actually one of the businesses that thrived. And so that was a whirlwind, right? And just post COVID, I think we're all trying to find that next normal, that new balance, whatever that looks like. The company just went through a lot of change.
mm,
And I think we talk about just change fatigue. And when you're a leader and you're trying to just keep up with the change, right? And I'm a
mhm,
change agent.
mhm.
It just kind of, there were some balances that were not there, and I had some headwinds, really, I think, from the Lord that was like, I don't know, just weird things that I was like, somehow I'm not going to be there. I had a project that was kicking off later in the year. Yeah, I don't know, just some things, right? And so once I had the opportunity to take on a couple projects, I thought that was the right time to exit. And so I spent really 2024 working those projects, building sort of the behind the scenes, what I wanted my brand to be.
Mhm.
And then when we met, this year and really in 2025, I've been doing networking groups and really trying to get myself out there, build a smart business community,
Mhm.
and really get myself out there in terms of teaching, connecting people. I think we're both connectors of people.
Yes.
And so just really excited that I'm about a year in officially. And so it's just been the most wonderful journey of meeting people, and even, just
Right.
would I even know I would
Right.
be here a year ago, right?
Right.
And so just things happen in his timing, and it's just been a really great adventure.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that is we'll slide back into that because I think there's
Yes.
a very important nugget there, and that is understanding it doesn't happen overnight.
Yes,
It's a
ma'am.
process. I mean, you're talking about being a year in, you're kinda knowing what your brand the way you want it. I mean, being okay with where you are right
Yes.
in that moment. That pivot switch of you being
Mhm.
in corporate America and how you could start to see the signs. And so if you're in that space, understand that's normal.
That is normal.
It's okay to just not be moving super fast. Like,
Correct.
because I think you come out more on a solid foundation. Because I think if you like do things too fast and get, I mean, like, what'd you say, famous fast, like,
Yeah.
then you have to go back. And it's harder to
How did I
build
even get here?
a foundation on
Yes.
that. So I think it's good that you're taking the time to find out, what do I want my brand to look like? How am I, what is my audience? Like,
Yes. How do I wanna show
how do I want to
up?
tell my story? Like, what
Yes.
part of the story do I think that is going to be beneficial and help that audience that you're attracting to you? So, I mean, I think it's very important. So, good job. Like, I
Thank
always tell people when I tell
you.
people about promoting themselves, like, get out there, like,
Yep.
network, like, take time. I mean, yes, you're building your brand. Yes, you're trying. Of course, we're all trying to get the money to come through. I mean, that's just how it is. But it's so important to start building on that solid foundation, getting out there, meeting people, finding your audience, letting your audience know who you
Yes.
are, telling your story so that it comes to you. And so, one of those great ways is doing it through networking.
Yes,
So,
I am such a fan of networking, and I think we've talked a lot about this, like attracts like, and so if you're out there and you're putting yourself out there, right? And that's what we've done organically is we've just found those people that will keep pace. We have another friend, Monique, that
mhm,
with Most Sophisticated Events that will be joining us, and again, you kinda just find that you're willing to say for me, it's kinda why not, right?
right.
And trying to say yes to things this year, right? Putting
Mhm,
yourself out there in different ways. But that has been the biggest blessing.
right.
And you talk a lot about collaboration, not competition. I'm
Yes.
so big on that as well.
Yes.
I think we
Yes.
all have our own pie and we can all
There's enough for
succeed.
all of
There
us.
is.
Enough for all of us.
Yeah. And so that's really why I think we got along so well and so
Mhm.
quickly because that is the spirit in which, we want to everybody to succeed.
Yes, definitely. And that is what I have been praying for. Like, it has been a kind of a road because for the long time I did it all
COVID,
myself.
remember? We
Like,
talked about that.
and definitely COVID
Yeah.
because of course I couldn't do events in COVID, which thank God I had started doing the networking group, had a group of people that we did stuff online with. We did some pop-up shopping events online, which are pretty funny to watch, but it's
You
like
try it all.
I
I
had
I
tried
try I was
all. Like
leading groups
it
in
was
COVID
like it
too.
was
You
like, what
try
are
it
we
all.
doing? But at least I had, and then when we came out, I kept with networking so I could figure out what is
Mm.
business needing.
Yes.
Again, taking that time to find out what does my audience need, and that's how Content and Cocktails
Love
was
it.
built because I realized everybody was saying, I don't know what to post, how
So
to post,
true.
and I wanted to show people you can use your own phone
Mm.
and create your own content until you can hire someone in
That's
to do it. I
right.
mean, go in steps. Like, it's okay to go in
Iteration.
steps.
So believe in
Iteration.
that. Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, so having, that God moment but that whole time I was like, okay, Lord, I know you're telling me to let go. 'Cause I've done everything pretty much on my
Mm.
own. Like, we were doing 9 events a month. And of course,
Wow.
the people that I had come in and helping me was doing the back, more, not more the back end stuff, like helping at the event or
Mm.
helping set up. So it was nothing that was really the business in like where I could let go in like, having a accountant or, I just couldn't do that yet. And especially after COVID, because then,
Yep.
it was just like sink or swim, sink or swim. Like, where am I at? Sink or swim. My little nose
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe
You're breathing.
I'm
You're breathing.
breathing.
Yeah,
Help,
yeah.
help. Like, I think I'm there. Let me take a
Yeah.
breath.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
back
yeah,
up.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Treading water. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
treading
yeah,
water.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
make it.
yeah.
I think I
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
I
I think
think
I
I
can yeah,
can.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like all those things. But, coming out of it, I was like, okay, we got this. Let me figure out what the audience needs and then we'll go
Mhm.
from there. And, that's just kind of how it's been. And so, but through that whole time, my biggest prayer was, Lord, I need another me. Like, I need someone who is like, fast and quick
Mm. Mm.
and keep up with me. Because everybody's like, Kathy, you are too on 10. It's so funny. My daughters are always like, they hate going places with me. They're like, oh God, like we're going to be here this long. She's going to take
Yeah, yeah.
but she's going to get it done. But we're tired. I'm like, I'm not done
You're
yet.
thorough,
Like,
Kathy. You're
it's like, we
thorough.
got to have it all done.
Mhm.
And so, but I really needed that
Yep.
back, like some people that really saw the vision. I knew like when I came out, I had like 2 businesses because, we had the pop-up
Yeah.
shopping, which I had all the vendors, like a whole group. And so I was like, man, I can't just let that go to waste,
Mm-mm.
an audience. And so I really saw that promoting side coming out, but I really didn't, want to, do that. And so let go
Let go,
of
right?
the shopping events, but I didn't want to put them on anymore. So I was like, well, wait a minute. I can, come in and help fill those events, mentor people, and help smaller ones get up and going so they can be successful so they don't have to go through all the struggles,
Yes.
all the strife, all the tears,
Right.
I mean, like, understanding why you have a crowd one minute and the next minute you
Mm.
don't, the
Mhm.
up and down, that is all normal, and getting those systems right, like,
Yeah.
because I mean, we played with systems like none other, and
Mhm.
it's not that that's my expertise, we just had to figure out what
Yeah.
it worked. And so being able to share that with people, again, collaboration, especially right now, knowing that even bringing coordinators together. So, like, the event I am putting on
Yes.
here pretty soon,
Yeah.
the Sip Shop and Sunshine. There's several of us coordinators. Monique is one of them. You're
Yes.
helping.
Yes.
Taylor is
Yeah.
helping at Hometown Olathe Family Farms. We're coming together to show that we can all come together and share audiences.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean that when Monique is going to go off and do her own event, that
Right.
I'm going to damage. Actually, it helps because now they know to follow Monique somewhere. They know to look at Hometown Layla Farms to see what's going on. So I want to show the power of that collaboration. And so like I said, I was just praying for the right team to come. And it was crazy. I just got up one day and I was like, you know what? 'Cause I go visit many events. I
Yes.
mean, I do.
Yes,
I
you
go
do.
take behind the
Yes,
scenes,
she does.
just for her, all that. I go take stuff and throw them up, show them on my platform and stuff. But I don't know why I was just so drawn to the event that you guys had going on that day, and it rained.
Mm.
I will never forget
It
it. It
rained
was like,
hard.
and I felt so bad, but I mean, I would plan on coming already. So I'm
Yes.
coming. I'm like, I know we got to get out there and show them that this is okay. This is normal. This is what happens. But it was so great because that's where we met.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
we started coming together. You came to some of my events,
Yep.
and I've come to some of yours.
Yes.
I came and did another vision board at
Yes, we did a vision board party
your
just
vision
last
board.
week, I think.
Yeah,
That
the
was
vision
wonderful.
party. So
Mhm.
it was great to be able to kind of restart that vision board. And
Yes.
so that's where we kind of started seeing, wait a second, things are going. And so we've actually got together and we work really well together. So I think that be looking, some
Be
big things are
looking.
coming. Wait till you see what's coming out. A lot of those visions that I had, she's able to complete those. And so, and Monique as well. So you're
Yeah.
going to see some powerhouse stuff coming. So pay attention
Yeah.
because it's going to be something.
And
But
I love that philosophy because I think somewhere I became a teacher as well, and probably because I was poured into and
mhm.
saw what abundance can come from that. And so I teach most Wednesdays at my church as well. And
Okay.
again, right, and we've
Yeah.
talked about it. We all, if you've built or grown anything,
Right.
we've all taught to 4 people. And now
Mhm.
my 4 is 50, and it's nothing I've done. It's the Lord and the church and the healthy environment. But
Right.
that just goes to show again, just the small, faithful steps will ultimately lead you to the trajectory. And I want to share just
Yeah, I was gonna say,
a
we gotta share
journal.
your
Yes. And
journal.
so this is really
It's in
what
print.
catalysted us to do
Yes.
some things together. But yes, it is in print. You can get it on Amazon. We'll drop the link below. But it's a 30 days of business principles.
Mhm.
And so really, I think that's when we were talking about just teachings and trainings and how do we make planners and workbooks. But there is a way to do that. And so what's really neat about this is you just have a prompt for 30 days. And it talks about get clear, get focused, get going,
Mhm.
which is the framework of business with wisdom. And you have a little inspirational quote. Of course, we always need that.
Yes, definitely.
30 words for 30 days. You get the quote and then a little lesson. That's where you get to know me and sort of my business philosophies and my teachings, and then an opportunity to reflect. And
Right.
so that's sort of the time just to pause and reflect every day. But it gives you little journal prompts. And so this would be more of a structured journal, which we talk about at Business with Wisdom, because that's a little bit of the workbooks, the trainings. That's what I like more than an unstructured journal. There's a place for those as well. So this is a great option if you are a side hustler, small business, if you want to reinvest, just reinvigorate. This is sort of the basis for some of the teachings that we do at Business with Wisdom. So it's a great purchase for sure.
You definitely wanna get one. I have one, and then you can always come and get it signed by her too,
That's
you know?
right. That's
Yeah.
right. You got a signed copy, don't
Yes,
you?
come to one of our
Yes.
because we do have some, events coming up. I can't
Yes.
wait till you see them. We're launching them now. We'll have dates soon. And
Yes.
so it was just such a perfect mix because, you have the principles.
Mhm.
I talk about the promoting and
Yes.
how to get yourself out there. It's just God just knows
Yeah.
there's no mistakes in meeting people.
Nope.
There just isn't. He knows how to put the right people together.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about,
Yeah.
everything that's going to be
Well, we
coming.
both work quick, like you said. We both have a
Mhm.
fast speed, and I think with Monique as well. And so that's kind of what we're realizing is
Right.
that as we continue going
Mhm.
forward, you kind of realize who keeps pace. And so that was what was lovely about this. And we do have a brunch coming up on August 9th.
Mhm.
And thank you for hosting that and
Yes,
sponsoring that.
yes, I will be
And
there.
that's leading right into our accountability group. So Business
Mhm.
with Wisdom believes there's a new philosophy, which tell me if you've heard about it. I don't know if we've talked about it, the 12-week year, which
Okay.
is a quarter. And so in the corporate world and in finance, of course,
Okay.
we are driven by end of month and the quarter
Right.
end. And so it's just a phenomenon that says, yes, you can have a strategic plan. Yes, you should have goals that are a year long, but
Mhm.
really we focus on a sprint, which is 90 days. So 90 days, 3 months, 12 weeks. And so you'll have an opportunity to come alongside me. You'll have weekly virtual sessions,
Mhm.
meetup groups. That's your accountability group. And then I will send weekly lessons. Every Monday, you'll get a lesson of focus. And the first 30 days, you will get the journal. And so we encourage people just to go through the journal. And then the second and the third set of 30 days, you'll go through kind of the review preview that we talked about a little bit, that journal prompting with intention. But that is coming this late summer. And so what's cool about that is you will be done with your accountability groups
Oh,
before Thanksgiving. So we know how
yay.
busy that gets. So we've got
Yes,
them
that's
timed.
perfect
Yes,
timing.
timed
Yes.
just perfectly.
Yes, yes, because we gotta keep held accountable clear up to those.
That's right. And then we're going to shop.
Yeah, of course. Of course, we'll have the shopping events out there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So we have some of those coming up as well. So
Yeah. So
it'll
that's
be
exciting
super
things.
fun. It'll be fun. So I appreciate you coming and
Thank you,
being on
Kathy.
the show. And I'm telling you that you want to keep looking and coming on in with
Yes.
Monique and is going to be with us on the next podcast. All of us, all three of us. So you'll have all of us together.
Yep.
So
I can't
that'll
wait for
be, yeah,
that.
it'll be fun, you guys. So come on back and look for the next episode. And thank you for coming today. And I will see you soon.